Okay, 5 years and 35,000 miles later, let's look at the outside of this thing. For the most part, it's held up well. I have a couple areas that got really oxidized. Right above that window where it's exposed to the sun, it got really bad. I tried a few things on it, and I put this stuff called Polyglow on it that actually worked on the bad spot, but I got ambitious and I put it on down lower, and it didn't look good. You can see it's peeling off of the graphics, so I got to buy some stuff to strip that off. The rest of the coach looks good. I've been waxing it yearly using Meguiar's wax, either their pure wax or their RV and marine wax. The back of the coach got really oxidized. I mean bad, because it takes the evening sun or the afternoon sun. I didn't use any Polyglow on it, but I did buy an orbital buffer and polished it out, and it came out really nice. Got that. This is the driver's side. It still looks beautiful. It's like new. I've polished the roof too. Read the Winnebago owner's manual tells you to wax it like the rest of the coach. So a couple problems I had. Well, let's take a look. Alrighty. One of the problems I had was this proportioning valve went bad and it started leaking. I lost a bunch of antifreeze. So I bought that from the dealer near Winnebago out in Iowa. It was pretty salty. It was like 160 some odd bucks, and then I had to buy coolant and so on. The other problem I had was one problem that seems like everybody has, is this latch fell off. So I contacted 3M, and they instructed me which body panel adhesive, automotive style, to use. I put it back on, and it's holding very well. But I put some catches on it. If it falls off again, I'm not going to lose it. So let's take a look at some other stuff. So I installed a Safety Plus steering stabilizer, which it helped a lot. The steering wasn't loose, but it's very overly sensitive. So, I mean, as long as you kept your elbows on the armrest and held that wheel perfectly still, that thing would go straight down the road. But man, you just move that steering wheel a speck, and then if it starts moving, then you're starting to making corrections, and then it wasn't good. But this steering stabilizer really helped that a great deal. Another very well worth the money upgrade was this track bar from Super Steer. That was probably one of the biggest improvements in handling that I had done. The other thing I did was the cheap handling fix on the rear stabilizer bar. This link rod, let's see if I can get my hand in there. This link rod right there used to be in this hole. When you move it to the next rear hole, it stiffens up the stabilizer bar and eliminates body rocking. And it looks like I got a little leak in the rear end there too, coming out from the axle tube. How nice. So I had to do some adjustments on most of these doors because they were all leaky. Just a little adjustment on these screws here to squeeze them in tighter. I used the old dollar bill trick where you close the dollar bill into the gasket, and if it slips out, then you got a gap. I also filed all these edges. My God, these were sharp. I filed them all off and put these bolt caps on all of these so I don't rip my flesh every time I get into the cupboard. Okay, so this is where I mounted my solar charge controller. What I did before was I run this this wire directly to the batteries through a fuse and this switch. Now I use this cord with these these connectors to power my Viair air compressor and my macerator pump. I have the same fittings on the end, and it works out pretty well. And then I also use this cord to plug into the output of a solar charge controller. So that the charge controller outputs directly into the batteries. And then the solar panel wires, I run them up through this handy dandy little hole here and plug them in. It's a portable system, 2 100-watt panels that I put together. There's another video that shows that. But yeah, it works pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. And it's nice and handy to have that power for my air compressor and my macerator pump handy. Okay, laying underneath this thing again. I'm in the back of the coach, just to show you where I mounted my repeater for my TST tire pressure monitoring system. I mounted it here, and I wired it into the 12-volt charging line that goes back to the round 7 plug on the trailer connector, because it's 12 volts and it's switched with the engine. When the engine's not running, a relay drops out and it powers this down. So this is only powered on whenever the coach is running, and the system works great. And under the heading of stuff I gotta fix, I'm having a little bit of trouble with my awning. It seems to have either slipped on the on the track on the coach or on the roller, because this won't latch in properly now. It's all off kilter. So I got to get somebody to try to help me to slip it back into place so it rolls up straight. So it rolls up straight and latches properly, latches into place properly, and not like goofy like this one is. Let's see if you can see that. Yeah, this one's off. This one's off too. It's supposed to go flat up against there. That's on my list of stuff to fix. One problem that drove me crazy for a long time was this loud, obnoxious hissing sound that used to come out of these speakers. So after a while, I figured out that as long as, I don't know if you can see it back here, this TV and radio switch was switched to TV, every time my water heater kicked on, it would make this loud hissing sound out of these speakers, and it was very annoying and obnoxious. And if I switched it to radio, it would go away. It would stop. And it would only happen when the water heater was lit. So for the longest time, I was leaving it on radio until I realized that any kind of Bluetooth phone calls or GPS directions would be broadcast out these speakers. I got back to seriously fixing it. So the short story is, I tried everything in my bag of tricks for noise mitigation for electronics devices. What finally fixed it was an isolation transformer between the output of the TV and the input to the power amp. And I'll show you a picture of that. Last year I did do the service on the sealant for the edge of the roof, which once I got the technique down on how to get the old stuff out, it wasn't that bad of a job, but it's one of those jobs you have to do, or you could well, you could lose your roof or get some roof damage, because that's what holds the roof down into that gutter, that big wad of sealant that goes down the edge. So that was done, and whenever I did it, it needed it. So all in all, I'm pretty happy with how well it's held up. Yeah, I got some work I need to do, and a lot of work that I've already done. And seeing as though it's turning 35,000 miles in the spring, I'm going to do axle lube replace. I'm going to do a transmission service, and I've been changing oil every 5,000 miles, oil and filter, and putting an air filter in every 10,000 miles, which is more than it needs, but I like to keep it clean. Anyways, thank you for watching. Maintenance Man here, over and out.